Welcome to this special yours truly vigil evening vigil with yours truly Dragan on this third day that yours truly is self-isolating, day 3 of my being positive for COVID. Tested COVID positive on a kit, rapid testing, rapid response test kit and COVID and Saturday. So Saturday was the first day, yesterday, Sunday the second day, and today, Monday, the third day is the official guidelines of the Hawk Island, aka Montreal, Quebec, Canada, North America. In Montreal, to test positive, you self isolate for 5 days. So I'm isolating in my underground room, office, and temple, cleaning, meditating, reading, writing, and continuing. My work, yours truly, although broke, my work is gold, although broke. My work is gold, although broke, my work is gold. This is special. Go to sunset and beyond, to sunset and beyond, to sunset and beyond. Special vigil, gonna pour some special tea. This is tea from Sri Lanka. Of course, a LGBTQ world citizen, Rainbow Dragon, a citizen of the world, from Hawk Island, Montreal, in solidarity for world peace with all brothers and sisters worldwide. And what I am, of course, a North American, part of the collective civilization of North America, which, of course, my theory written over the past years is that North America constitutes a collective of civilization, that North America is a collective civilization born from, at the same time, distinct but not fully separate from Western civilization, but which its origins lies in the Second World War, with Western civilization nations constituting Western civilization, of course, warring each other, and the major ideological philosophies of communism and fascism arising and warring with each other in different states and nations for the Cold War, Western civilization and beyond. So tea from Sri Lanka, calling for world peace. Not perfect, far from it. Do not play it self-righteous. Got issues, got vices, got lust, get moody and get upset. I think this is the third time that I actually have COVID. I want to put it on record. I'm private citizen going public, private citizen going public, private citizen Dragan going public, live on Facebook and documenting my fitness journey, my geopolitical analysis, and my theories, and my comedy and art, and as an independent artist, independent activist, independent athlete, independent geopolitical analysis and theorist, geopolitical theorist and analyst and theorist in terms of geopolitical matters, and universal spiritual teaching student, because I'm learning every day. My statement of Mother Nature is the greatest artist and scientist. And I'm grateful, thankful, gonna say my gratitude, thankfulness, blessing that it is July 11th, on this third day of being COVID positive, although I want to state before I continue that I believe this is the third time that I actually have COVID. Seems to be a more mild. The first time was a medium, and the first time was a very intense. Thought I was gonna die. And it was before mass testing was available at the beginning of 2020, end of January 2020 until about mid to late February. And I was very sick and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease, and in many ways did die. And end of January 2020 until about mid to late February. So about end of January till about mid to late February, thought I was gonna die. In many ways, did die during COVID. Calling all Willingly Loving to support my vision for a post-COVID political, financial, economic, even psychosexual and spiritual post-COVID world, in the economic, financial, commercial, and beyond, the psychological, even spiritual post-COVID world of pleasure and purpose, of pleasure and purpose, of pleasure and purpose, by mass financing, of course, people to work out, train, exercise, and recreative facilities, and for purpose, and of course the implementation of my trinity of theories, which I've written over many, many years, or more than 7, 8, 9 years, more than 7 years, 8, 9 years, 7, 8, 9 years, more than that. As I've made the libraries of the city of Montreal my second home and read tens of thousands of books. I'm still learning every day. I don't know it all. In certain things, I admit I am mediocre. I am average, so-so, admit it, guilty. Tiny hands, tiny little feet, tiny little androgynous, scar-clit dick. Now that we got that out of the way, we can proceed to perhaps more things beyond our selfish interests, perhaps to our balancing ourself with the collective. That being stated, with all the imperfections of character and the flaws of temperament that do have, and admit that do have. Got lusts, got vices, got issues, but do not play it self-righteous. And part of the LGBTQ community, like hygiene, can increase in hygiene, can do better in my cleaning in my underground room, house, and temple. Some things I'm mediocre, average, so-so. I'm great at geopolitical analysis and theorizing geopolitics, and of course I'm proud to have created my own workout training program called the General War Integrated Whole Body Training System, aka the Dragan Army Workout, aka the 300 Workout, and which I've of course performed more than 260 sessions so far, and I have been and will advocate for the mass financing thereof of my brothers and sisters to work out, to train, and to exercise, which has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly, as I believe it is medicine and therapy for many. Working out, training, exercising, that is, and I've lost more than 77 pounds in my fitness journey, continuing it. And it has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly, working out, training, and exercising. And of course, my workout was made and created to go hand in hand with, paradoxically, a World War III scenario back in 2019. And after my conclusion, after my geopolitical analysis, came to the conclusion that we are on a path, we as in humanity, not just North American civilization or Western civilization, but humanity as a whole is on a path towards another international conflagration. And so created, made, and designed the General War Integrated Whole Body Training System, aka the Dragan Army Workout, aka the 300 Workout, which was made and created to go with a World War III scenario back in October 2019, and is ongoing since I'm still doing it, still performing it. Special sessions in the sun. Now I'm self-isolating, so I'm gonna take my sister's advice and just meditate, read, continue writing my children's books, as I'm well doing this reading on Forex in a few minutes after this brief, holy, sacred, and divine introduction. Yours truly, Adrian Dragon, not perfect, far from an androgynous pansexual founder of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, calling all willingly loving to support, join, volunteer in any way, capacity whatsoever that do can, comment, DM, etc., etc., etc. on my official volunteer representative, Red Ciela Yale Work will direct, instruct, or bless you in my holy, sacred, and divine name. Do advise you to keep it out of your mouth if it's not for a blessing. Adrian Dragon blesses allies and armies. Kisses God, 718 trillions credited from the goddess, which dances with her brother the sun, which got one kiss from her sister above, the goddess of heavens, and that kiss turned into these trillions of kisses, which are credited to yours truly, Adrian Dragon, with the condition that will freely distribute to all my willingly loving allies and armies. Some kisses God, some hugs, some brains, and some muscles with that. Some things I'm mediocre, average, I admit it, guilty. Some things I am perhaps even fucking useless. At one point I admit that. I had trouble changing a light bulb. I ruined the whole thing. There you go, guilty. CSIS, CSIS, Mossad, FSB, don't. NSA, CIA don't spy on me. Perhaps you already have now in my phone. 14-year-old millennial hacked me on Instagram. I said, who's this rapper? I'm gonna show him my tech skills. Don't bother. In a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology is my chosen path. Me too in that parallel life. Supercomputers, ICBM rockets, microchips, and satellites is my chosen path. In this life, a little bit of sunlight, moonlight, sunlight, sunshine, sun rays, sunrises, sunsets, some philosophy, some art, some geopolitics, and do rap a little bit. I'm not gonna rap. A deliciously disgusting diatribe, perhaps for world peace. Thank you, farmers. Love you, farmers. Thank you, love you, hug you, kiss you, farmers. Thank you, love you, hug you, kiss you, truckers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, daycare workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, sanitation workers of the city who picked up the garbage at about 5:10 or 5:15 or maybe 5:20 or maybe 5:30 or maybe close to 6 or anyways today between 5 and 7 p.m. they picked it up. Thank you, sanitation. Kiss you, hug you, love you, sanitation workers of the city who passed with that big truck taking the garbage today. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Farmers, thank you. Workers of Hydro-Quebec maintaining these 63 dams, and yours truly, independent philosopher, independent artist, independent activist, to do this video with clean, renewable energy that I'm using. To learn a little bit more of that. I'm learning every day. Don't know it all. I'm using clean, renewable, zero pollution emission energy to do this. Heat my water for tea, the light above my head, and this connection to the internet provided by the internet provider Wi-Fi, of which I'm a master of the internet, satellite, telecommunications, microchips in that parallel life. In this one, geopolitics, philosophy, some dancing, and some psychosexual theory, geopolitical theory and analysis. And of course, as an independent fitness captain, some brain and some muscle even in this parallel life have. So I'm trying to connect with that parallel self where science, innovation, and technology is most of my parallel self in that parallel universe where satellites, supercomputers, microchips, and software, gadgets, and smartphones and supercomputers is my universe in that parallel life. Connecting with my parallel self gives me headaches because it makes me read documents 50,000 pages, 60,000 pages, and I get headaches because I'm used to reading books that are hundreds of pages and not tens of thousands of pages long. So it's hard to connect with that parallel self, but it's a step every day in the learning process. So for a 14-year-old millennial whiz kid, tech kid, hack my Instagram on my phone now. We're being listened by that, what they call stingray. Well, drop down, give me some push-ups, take care of your bodies. Body's a temple for pleasure and purpose. With consent and hygiene, make love tonight, because life is short is the main message. So start kissing, start hugging, start loving with consent and hygiene and mutual understanding. And love with consent and hygiene and the principle that harm none principle. Principle that harms none with mutual understanding, consent and hygiene. Make LOV, man. Kiss, hug, hug, kiss, wash each other. My allies and armies, that is my message. Share, care, admit some things. Not easy. That ego, that I have it in myself. I'm not totally selfless, flying on clouds. Have lusts. Don't hack me, CSIS or Secret Service of Mossad. Must sad. How sad is the must? Or RCMP. Don't hack me. I watch a little bit of pornography. I was COVID sick this Sabbath, so I didn't watch pornography, but I masturbated and I watched pornography 2 weekends ago, so I'm guilty. Don't bother hacking me or blackmailing me with sexual proclivities, because I'm androgynous, pansexual, and do have lusts. I was trying to trap people, these people, with shame and guilt. Freedom is a double-edged sword, isn't it? Certain things it's hard to admit. We're dealing it with hidden fears, irrational fears. 6'6", 360 pounder, 13 years in the NFL, 3 concussions had survived. Of course, this is in my imagination that he comes over to the Dragon's lair underground room house and temple, wants to support the Dragon army. He starts screaming because it's a safe space for spiders here in this underground room house and temple, and he starts screaming. So why are you screaming? Are you afraid? Running out. He's afraid of a tiny little spider. How irrational is that? So we have the irrational emotional forces within us. We have subconscious biases which sometimes we're unaware of. They do exist within us, right? Like the COVID. My trinity on COVID is, has been, and will be this. Brothers and sisters, I first and foremost do not know what caused COVID. Numero uno, number one. First and foremost, do not know what caused COVID. Second, believe it was caused via this transmission from snakes to human beings. And third, cannot rule out another possibility. XYZ possibilities. Accident in the lab, bioweapon. Accident gone wrong, whatever other XYZ possibilities. I don't know for sure. I believe, although I do believe that it was snakes. Others say different foul animals. Snake is a popular one. Rats is another popular one. And of course, other animals. Bats is, I think, among the most popular. That the virus originated in bats, but other animals, snakes, pork even. I don't know for sure. I believe it was snakes. Some say other animals. I believe it was snakes. Other animals. Third, I cannot rule out another possibility. Fourth dimension to my trinity on COVID is what do know for sure 100% without any doubt whatsoever is that before COVID, about 93 days before COVID, 3 months, October 17, 2019 to be precise and exact date, yours truly performed the first session of the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout, aka the 300 workout. My own created workout, of which I'm proud of as an independent fitness captain, that I've created, and that I've created it, made it, and designed it to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario. After my, paradoxically, and this is another paradox, me as a world peace advocate, independent, struggling financially, economically, artist, coming out of a depression, coming out of being suicidal, coming out of being rock bottom about that time, by working out, training, exercise, started healing my healing journey when I went on a coast to coast trip across Canada with my anonymous sister, coast to coast Canada trip a few years ago, and my anonymous sister, that was when I started healing and the healing journey. So back in 2019 October, created, made, and designed a General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka 300 workout, made and designed to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which in an eerie, paradoxical, providential way resembles the COVID-19 health and financial crisis. Since it resembles it, that's what I've been advocating for the implementation of my Trinity of theories and my solutions. As in my scenario. My scenario is a world was and is ongoing because the timeline continues, closing in the coming days and weeks. The timeline is about to close. Of my scenarios, my workouts, of course, I'm gonna reach 300 sessions, done more than 263 now, 261, 262, 260, more than 261 sessions of it so far. And of course, I've created and made and designed it to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which in a nearly paradoxical, providential way resembled the COVID-19 health and financial crises. And since that resemblance, that's what I began advocating for. The implementation of my trinity of theories and the creation of the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, to be for security and service and integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations. Institution for the 21st century for security and service. Securing food, housing, and transport. Securing food, housing, and transport. Securing food, housing, and transport. Once those three are secured for all, we can work on the fourth dimension, services. All services on the table that can be offered with consent, hygiene, mutual understanding, principle that harm none, whatever services, cleaning, cooking, taking the children out for a dance, for push-ups, for playing in the field, for soccer playing, for running around, for help with carrying groceries up third floor, help with all services which can be offered with consent, hygiene, mutual understanding and love. 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 And the principle that harm none. And the principle harm none, principle harm none, principle. All services which can be offered. Looking for volunteers to creating websites, creating applications, web applications, and setting up the 1-800 Dragon Army number, 1-800 Dragon Army number, 1-800 Dragon Army, 1-800 Dragon Army number. Yours truly, Dragon Zero, servant of my willingly loving allies and armies. Push-ups, hawk squats, encourage all to work out, train, exercise, take care of the bodies of the temple for pleasure and purpose. And 21st century to create this new two complementary and covenant and cooperative institutions, the Dragon Army, officially international citizen integrated social security and service force, to be complementary to the International Integrated Dance League, okay, the Dancing Goddess Army, to dance all integrate, that will be an all gender, all ages, all sexual orientations, all class levels inclusive, have organized professional dancers on all levels, but integrated, the principle of integrated, all genders, all ages, all sexual orientation, ALL, all genders, ALL, all sexual orientations, ALL, all genders, all ages, all sexual orientations, gender inclusive, sexuality inclusive, age inclusive, integrated dance league. Dance for pleasure and purpose, for pleasure and purpose, for pleasure and purpose. It's fun. I love to dance. Dancing is my favorite sport. And of course, for the environment, for Mother Nature. I say the word goddess, 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 even if they don't like it, they got it way too much, but don't goddess it. The goddess, whether I like it or not, whether we pray to the east, to the west, to the south, to the north, the goddess dances with her brother the sun. And she has danced for prophets came and passed and still dance and dances to make and create all fruits, vegetables, and legumes by that dance that our brothers and sisters, farmers, harvest. You can see the background emblem. Dancing goddess who dances with the brother sun, who now the sun is about to set. It's about 31 minutes in Hawk Island, Montreal, but the sun rises somewhere else. Of course, we gotta subtract time zones to go on the West Coast, British Columbia, Vancouver, Seattle, Washington State, San Francisco, Bay Area, California, minus 3 hours, so it's 5:18. So they still have more than 3 hours of sunlight on the West Coast. Now the sun is rising over Asia, right? Japan, Korea, South North, China, Australia. The sun is rising there. So I'm drinking this tea from Sri Lanka during that meditation. What time zone is Sri Lanka? See, this is a tea. So I've been following the events of Sri Lanka, and of course, believe that my solutions complement and bring a universe. I'm a universal revolutionary centrist. Bring some solutions to the current impasse, whether financial, economic, commercial, psychological, or even spiritual impasse that we lived and I have suffered and I've struggled and suffered and struggled and was suicidal, depressed, been rock bottom, depressed, been suicidal, been alone, been and broke, but my work is gold, and broke, but my work is gold, and broke, but my work is gold. Now without fault, don't play the self-righteous card. But I am for the greater good. I am for the greater good. I am for the greater good. And no way that, with all the imperfections and the flaws that do have and the lusts, my brothers and sisters, if I would have had millions in the bank account, and no way that I would have been that fucking selfish, but now financing this tough economic, financial, commercial times, at least food security, at least doing holidays for the children to get them extra bags of goods and groceries, and to get for food security for them to play sports or whatever for my LGBTQ community. Ain't no way, with all the lust and the vices and the temperament that I do have and the moodiness, and I'm not totally selfless. I got a little bit of selfish in me. I like have a good wine and like to eat good, like double cheeseburgers and hamburgers also. Good poutine. Could eat a poutine every day. La Belle Province. I'll write you a poem every day with La Belle Province, and then give me I'll write you a poem every day for La Belle Province restaurant and give you a poutine every day. No, no joke, 100%. Not even joking. Food is holy, sacred, and divine. Thank you, farmers. Love you, kiss you, farmers. I'm gonna do a meditation now, stating that for the farmers, local from the North American Civilizational Collective and throughout the Americas, North America, Central America, South America, and beyond, because we need to find solutions to address the system that has been arising since 1989 of a global, technocratic, global financialized order. Global technocratic financialized order since 1989 is a global corporate financialized order which has created vast economic, financial, commercial inequalities which must be addressed in the 21st century, which found that the global Dragan Union, I believe, can be addressed at some point. And of course, my theory to create the the universal exchange unit, to be pegged on the three essential elements of civilization: food, housing, and transport. The three essential elements of civilization: food, housing, and transport. Be pegged on the three essential elements of civilization: food, housing, and transport, and services. And services thereafter. So I'm gonna be showing you that this tea that I'm drinking, classic green tea, is processed and packaged in Sri Lanka. See? They have the lion flag on the flags. It's been yesterday in the news and it's ongoing. See in the news. See? So this tea was packaged and processed in Sri Lanka, which is undergoing its worst economic, financial, commercial crises in history. But this tea was processed and packaged in Sri Lanka. So it comes from Sri Lanka. The tea grew there, harvested by one of my brothers and sisters, farmers of Sri Lanka. And the companies did the deal, the paperwork, bureaucracy of the import and the export, setting the systems have risen over decades. The liberalization and globalization, which has its good and its bad, and it's bad and it's good, and it's very bad and it's very good, right? It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray. There's, hopefully there will be, and a lot of rainbow. So I'm calling for a post-COVID world, a more rainbow world. I'm a dreamer, but not only a dreamer. I'm a dreamer, but not only a dreamer. I'm a dreamer, but not only a dreamer. I'm also a doer, challenging the multi-millionaire athletes in the patriarchal sports leagues, the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, to try to do my workouts. Freestyle battle rap me for the Dragon Dancing God is. You don't want me to start rapping. They want my rainbow dragon big red booty ass. Rapping. Rainbow dragon, aka class war rap. They don't want my rainbow booty rapping, you know, start rapping. Maybe. Commission, $1 million rap. It's a good tea. And actually, I'm gonna go grab. It's gonna take me less than 10 seconds to go grab because I have a little bit of leftover honey. So now for world peace. So I got a little bit of honey, not a lot. Very little, not a lot. I was able to get this half price, $4.99. Not entirely half price. It was from $7.99 to $4.99. So $3 off. So that's about what? 37 point something percent, 40%. But it's not half. Doing the math is not half. Because half of $7.99 would have been 4 even. So it was $4.99. So close to half, but not. It's like 40%. Not entirely half. But it was reduced by $3 from $7.99 to $4.99. I still have a little bit of it. I'm going to sweeten in the tea. And this honey was packaged in Canada from a blend of imported honey from Ukraine and Thailand, from 2 continents. Thailand in Asia and Ukraine in Europe. So it's a blend of honey from Ukraine and Thailand. A blend of honey from Ukraine and Thailand. Came and bought it from a store here in Hawk Island, Montreal. See? Right. For some more tea, so I'm gonna scrub whatever's left. So no food waste, no food waste, no food waste. That's what's gonna heal me. This little the tea from Sri Lanka. There's a little bit of honey and the biscuits from Israel, which I've gotten it also reduced 79 cents. 119 grams. Tea biscuits. So more than a chocolate bar. 119 grams, 79 cents. Product of Israel. Let's see, is that legible, but here it says product of Israel because it's not that colorful. But nonetheless, see here it can be seen. See, product of Israel, product of Israel, product of Israel, product of Israel. I got these biscuits also across the ocean through the import-export, the paperwork, and the laws regulating international trade. Biscuits, right? Company in New York got exported, came to Hawk Island, Montreal, and came to a good deal. 79 cents paid for them at a great deal. In this tough economic, financial, growing prices, cannot complain, and cannot complain that my rent is. Can't complain my rent is paid. Got half of my phone bill is paid. My rent is paid. My rent's paid. Half of my phone bill is paid. Electricity bill is paid in full, so don't worry about electricity bill for the month of July 11th. Rent is paid for July. Half of my phone bill. That trinity of bills. Have food. Have these biscuits from Israel for world peace. Gonna eat them. Tea from Sri Lanka in solidarity with workers across the world, and calling my brothers and sisters of humanity to channel the aggression, do push-ups, do hawks. Let's work towards a post-COVID economic, financial, commercial system of pleasure and purpose to design across the world special recovery economic zones for tourism and recreation and for Mother Nature and for resources and build a cooperative system, public and the private are harmonized. There's more reinvestment of the wealth of the economic and the creation, of course, of the UE, my theory for the creation of a global unit of exchange, a universal exchange unit, the UE, universal exchange unit stands for EU, my proposition theory, the UE, universal exchange unit, pegged on after the application of my debt refusion theory to create the UE and create the two complementary and covenant institutions. International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragan Army, to be of security, for security and service, for security and service, as I've said. And the International Integrated Dance League, the Dancing Goddess Army, for pleasure and purpose, and for Mother Nature to be in harmony with civilization, for Mother Nature to be in harmony with civilization, for Mother Nature to be in harmony with civilization. For some more tea from Sri Lanka. I've been meditating on the events, on the reading about and meditating on the events in Sri Lanka, the suffering, the people in Sri Lanka. And of course there's poverty here, and I've lived in poverty. I've resorted to food banks, I've volunteered with organizations with food security. Food security is important. We try to not have food waste. This honey, it traveled from Ukraine, as I am calling for a ceasefire globally, immediate in the implementation of my Trinity of theories. Brothers and sisters worldwide, humanity, east, west, north, south, let's come together and ensure freedom and liberty, public-private partnerships, recognize our cultural differences, our experiences, and that we have common denominators, to work together for a 21st century where we channel the aggression, we channel the violence. I have the aggression in myself. I get moody, get upset, do push-ups, do hawks. I've struggled being bisexual, pansexual, struggled, suffered being LGBTQ, as only 7 years ago came out of the closet. Many do, especially due to economic, financial, commercial motives. Don't think Carl Nassib is the only LGBTQ player in the patriarchal sports leagues of the NFL, National Football League, NHL, NBA, and MLB. Imagine, only last year, only one came out in the open. There never has been a player who's LGBTQ in the four patriarchal sports leagues ever who played while being open LGBTQ. Think of that. How many decades it took to have Carl Nassib to play a few games for the Raiders. It took so many decades. Only after they retired, they came out. And Carl Nassib was the only one who played as LGBTQ in the four patriarchal sports league: NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. There's one on each team, I can guarantee you that. Fuck. I lost economic, financial, commercial continuance. People gossip, blah, 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 and we gossip. We spread slander, malicious, have ideas concocted in our minds, or we don't ask questions. We assume much, don't we? We assume much, don't we? We assume much. I don't know it all. I look at going live stream now, this little camera filming me on. I know in theory it can be all two-way communication can be intercepted. In a parallel life, I'm a master of satellites, master of supercomputers, telecommunications, microchips. In that parallel life, which gives me headaches when I connect with that parallel self, it can be intercepted, of course. Though, like I said, RCMP, CSIS, CSIS, NSA, CIA, FSB, SFSB, Stasi. Well, Stasi, you gotta go back in the past because there's no more Stasis. Stasi, hazy Stasis, smoking a joint, see? Clip, living my lips, grabbing on my nuts when I'm marching the streets. certain things are hard to admit. Our psychological dimensions, our sufferings, are there are many people who are LGBTQ worldwide who are struggling to come out of the closet for XYZ reasons. They're afraid, and fear is major factors, and X for XYZ, a lot of things. Economic, financial, commercial. I understand if you million contract in the NBA or NFL or NHL or MLB, the money, 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 and it's not about the money, money, money. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. In the Dragon Army, we're gonna play no more monkey business while playing. I love monkeys. Gotta say, I love monkeys. Love monkeys. I'm perhaps so. Maybe we're all monkeys. We're all monkeys, man. We're all monkeys. But of course, hearing about monkeypox, gotta be careful with the language since it's purported. Media is not being too careful. Some media, some more than others, don't like to generalize, do not like to generalize, do not like to generalize. That somehow monkeypox is goes to the homosexuals. I love me my homosexuals. I'm a homo. That's it, stop watching. But I know there's a fellow homosexual or bisexual or pansexual on each team of the patriarchal sports leagues of the either the NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, or MLB. Without any doubt, I can say they're not out of the closet. They're not openly part of the LGBTQ community, but there is one on each team, and has been for many decades. But for XYZ, still struggle of deliberation. When economic, financial, commercial pressures are put, it's hard, isn't it, to be ourselves, and then to tamper ourselves or incarnate certain parts of beings which required different approaches or different characteristics or competencies or energies, right? Because right now in my underground room office and temple, on my third day of being COVID stricken, for the third time I think I had COVID, like I said at the beginning before mass testing was available, had COVID, pretty sure of it, because it was very sickle and disease. That was the most hardcore. I was like sick for 22 days or so. End of January 2020 until about February 2020 was died. It was death, pestilence, and disease. And then in 2021, and now July 11th, it's like the third time is the mildest almost. Like in 2021, I think I had it for like 6 days or 7 days. I was sick so, but the first time I was very sick for like 22 days or so. So it was like the third time. But I am triple vaccinated. I'm triple vaccinated, and triple vaccinated. Don't mind wearing a mask. Encourage all to hygiene, hygiene, hygiene when you go in public. When I'm in my private domain in the underground room office and temple in Hawk Island, Montreal, I can shut everything off. As a private citizen, turn everything off, close the blinds, put Madonna music or Tekashi 69 music or Kanye West music. Get naked and start dancing naked on music of my choosing, if I will. When I step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen Dragan. I'm also public citizen Dragan. So I have not only rights, but I also have some obligations, some responsibilities. talk to another citizen, he wants to stay 2 meters away, or I want to stay 2 meters away. I have the right to do so. The right to not speak, not say a word, stay silent, or engage in conversation, or engage in business, or engage in free speech, engage in advocacy, engage in protest, engage in twerk. I'm not so good. I'm getting better at twerking. Dancing, I'm the best dancer of all genres. I feel the music, get on, feel on the music of all jazz, rock, pop, classic, soundtrack, classic, pop, rock, rap, jazz, rock, pop, rap, hip hop, soundtrack music, classic music. I dance. I'm getting better at twerking. I'm catching up, but I could twerk on the streets. I will. When I step in certain things, or in a school, or closer to children, closer to some common sense, some different attitudes in different establishments, different institutions, different organizations, right? Different rules, have more responsibilities and obligations in public. I still can do hugging, kissing, or XYZ, but gotta be more careful and respect others' freedoms and liberties, and beyond freedom and liberty, their own perhaps cultures, or their own feelings, their own XYZ other issues which part of the public sphere that make us different collectively and individually, and from neighborhood to neighborhood and city to city and country to country, as we have common denominators and common aspirations, as we do, right? As we do, as we move toward this, calling this post-COVID world. It's a work in progress. It also requires action, doing, to do, for example, public hygiene. I wear this, see, it's still gotta refill it, gotta refill it, gotta refill it, and I gotta do it. Speaking is not philosophizing, deep, intellectual, sophisticated, verbose language. Sometimes it's better to do 100 push-ups than say 10,000 words. Sometimes it can be the opposite. Sometimes better than doing the push-ups is better to say the 10,000 words. Sometimes it's better to do a little bit of each. 50 push-ups combined with 5,000 words. Perhaps sometimes too many words are no good. Perhaps sometimes too many push-ups are no good. The balance of force, philosophy, it's always a game, balancing our different experiences and natures and natures and natures to know one's nature, and to accept certain dispositions with their aggression. Like say with a fellow citizen who was a part of a security for the transit of Montreal. Thank you, public transit operators, bus drivers. Thank you, love you, hug you. Thank you, railway conductors. Love you, hug you, kiss you. Thank you, those making a sandwich now, or making a coffee for a trucker who's leaving or going out or coming in Montreal to bring us goods such as honey, tea, or potatoes, bananas, or sausages, or these three, or biscuits. These biscuits from Israel, maybe being shipped from Port of Montreal. Thank you, love you, kiss you, truckers, farmers. Love you, kiss you, hug you, those warehouses, workers, and those dock workers across, loading, unloading the ships, the containers, loading, unloading them, and loading, and unloading the trucks. Love you, kiss you, hug you. Calling all to the global Dragan Union, the 21st century union for the 11th holy, sacred, and divine principles. One of the principles is try to address issues to find solutions more directly, sometimes with the personal. Or gossip. Sometimes we gossip, so we feel mediocre, right? We feel inferior, we have feelings, so we spread malicious slander, spread gossip, don't we? We assume much, don't we? I'm not perfect, perhaps I'm guilty sometimes of assuming, perhaps way too much. Perhaps I pose too many questions. Perhaps that's why I ain't get no likes. honey from Ukraine and Thailand. So I got 3 countries in this cup. Products, produce that come from 3 countries. Sri Lanka, the tea. Part of the honey is from Thailand and part of it is from the Ukraine. Thank you to farmers who harvested it. Transporters who loaded and unloaded the trucks of the honey and the tea. I don't know, mindful, grateful meditation, right? Let's have a little bit of these biscuits from Israel. Let's see how to go with it. Try it without the tea. Wow. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Wow. For 79 cents. Can't get any better than this. Let's try it with the tea, because these are specialty biscuits from Israel. Mm. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. It's made, of course, the biscuits were made from mostly wheat, right? Mostly wheat, from the wheat. Some sugar, artificial flavors. Thank you to the workers who took that wheat in Israel, somewhere. It doesn't say the city. Other products from Israel I'm familiar say Bet Shemesh, Yerushalayim, or Tel Aviv, it says, or Haifa, or other cities. This one it doesn't say, because they didn't have the place to put it. It just say product of Israel. So, but the laborers, the factory who made it, turned the wheat and processed and mixed the ingredients, and then they shipped it on a ship. International trade, just like the tea. And the honey is packaged in Canada, but it's a blend. The honey from Thailand was probably brought in and mixed with the honey from Ukraine, 2 different continents. Perhaps the honey who came from Thailand came from the Pacific. Perhaps the honey from Ukraine came over the Atlantic. And how many trucks are going now across the North American civilizational collective? How many trucks are moving east, west, north, south across the collective of North American civilization at this point in time? Perhaps hundreds, thousands. East, west, north, south, the Dragan army to be able to offer them goddamn good massages. That's what I would fucking need now. Cannot afford it, it's getting too expensive. Dragan Zero's message to the parliamentarians was twice born in the USA after 1776. Founding fathers need a good Hana mother. That's another subject. I message Parliament, Congress. Think at this point in time, going to Parliament and Congress weekend. Left hand, I spank those on the left wing. Right, those on the right. This universal revolutionary centrist. Spank Congress and spank Parliament, and we go give the farmers and the truckers a massage, a good kissing and hugging. That's what I think the be a good remedy for the collective of North American civilization to do for a weekend. Both the left and the right to do some action, because it requires some action. Because with me, with my philosophies and theories, can go in divergent verbosity and use sophisticated language and terminology with more, which would more obfuscate, conceal, or maybe deter, or maybe muddle the whole solution proposed. Sometimes it's better to be straightforward and direct. Although I'm grateful, thankful that my rent is paid, that my electricity bill and rent are paid in full, rent is paid in full, electricity is paid in full. Half of my phone bill is paid in full. Fourth dimension to that trinity, got food, coffee, tea, biscuits from Israel, some hava from Ukraine, some jam from Egypt. Got food for this isolation on this third day going on. 5 days of self-isolation on my third day. After coming out from COVID, what I could fucking really use could be a good fucking massage. That's what it could be, straightforward and direct. And I think a lot of truckers could do the same. Farmers with it, and nurses and ambulance workers. Hey, workers of the city with it. Ambulance drivers and workers in the ambulances. Farmers with it, and the nurses. And multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires, athletes, and owners of the corporations mass finance them to get some good massage, the workers, you know. Otherwise, the Dragan Army, we could do the service. Who's with? Who's with? Who's with? I'm gonna blah blah blah. Gossip. Keep on gossiping on Instagram, man. On gossiping on Twitter. I know, money, right? Speaking of money, we're gonna go engage in some educational about the foreign exchange market on this third day of the COVID. But yes, I am calling on the Parliament of Canada, Congress of the United States, Senators and Senates, and House of Representatives, Congress of the US, Parliament of Canada to ASAP as I'm calling on all willingly loving to join the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom and the Global Dragon Union and the Phoenix People's Party. To apply my Trinity of theories, citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, and democratic fusion theory in order to create the two complementary and covenant and cooperative institutions. The National Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, for moving towards a post-COVID world and economic, financial, commercial system of pleasure and purpose. ASAP, Parliamentarians of Canada, Parliament of Canada, Congress of the United States, for the North American Civilizational Collective, for the collective of North American civilization. Can afford it, already got the tax money to get you lunches and transport and what have you. The bureaucracy involved. You go organize a weekend to give the truckers and the farmers a massage. I'm sure they could use it. Something more than a little blah blah blah. I'll do it with you. A good hugging. Some good hugging. 8:54 p.m. EST. Third day of COVID. Yours truly, increasing hygiene. Get tested, get vaccinated. Self-isolating after a self-test came positive Saturday. My anonymous sister had a rapid response test kit and came out positive. So following the guidelines of self-isolation, I'm doing this meditation appreciation as I'm being grateful, thankful, and learning every day, so we're gonna involve ourselves in some learning by via doing the reading. We're gonna read about the forex, again in complementary. Keep in mind that of course I am calling for the creation of the UI, preferably of course to be by the use of biometrics, integrated one. Biometrics, meaning the hand, the voice, and the eye being unique biometric identifiers, unique to all individuals, as Mother Nature is the greatest scientist and activist. After we implement death refusion theory, DRT, in complementary with citizen integration theory and democratic fusion theory, created two complementary and covenant and cooperative institutions of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragan Army, with the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions. Create the UE, stands for Universal Exchange Unit, based on my debt refusion theory. Enough with that, creating the two complementary and cooperative and covenant institutions for Mother Nature and civilization harmony, for harmony between civilization and nature. And of course, for an economic, financial, commercial system of pleasure and purpose, as the body is a temple for pleasure and purpose, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, secure these three essential elements of civilization: local, national, and international. Food, housing, and transport. Food, housing, and transport. Food, housing, and transport. Secure the three essential elements of civilization. For all food, housing, and transport, and after that, the three Trinity, Holy, Sacred, and Divine Trinity of civilization of food, housing, and transport is secured. To work on the fourth dimension, being services. Whatever services with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love, and the principle that harm none can to be offered the Dragan Army. To all citizens, supporters, volunteers, and subjects of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom thereof, officially international, supra-integrated states, calling all willingly loving to support this, yours to lead and honor dragons. This work, although broke, my work is gold. Although broke, my work is gold. Although broke, my work is gold. And some more tea before do show off what I am auctioning. So the coin collection that I'm auctioning is not worth much, but I am auctioning it as if it was worth more. A symbolic auction. Coin collection. Coin collection. Coin collection. So we have coins here from Hong Kong dollars to Hong Kong dollars. We have Estados Unidos Mexicanos, 5, I guess pesos, but it does have the dollar sign. I guess this is Korean, 500, just Korean won, 500 Korean won. $1 from Barbados. I'm not gonna show them all. I'm not gonna show them all. I'm not gonna show them all. Starting the auction, it's 777,777,777. 7,777,777. PayPal North America only. This is a 50 cents rare Canadian 50 cents, rare Canadian 50 cents, rare Canadian 50 cents. Coin. What is money? What is money? What is money? Money is first and foremost, of course, a unit of exchange. This is New Zealand, from New Zealand. New Zealand coins. So these coins auctioning raise funds for the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, for the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Well, help my anonymous sister, nominated as the General of the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, Secretary General, First Secretary General. Auctioning these coins, many coins, not gonna name it all, but there are at least, if there's 5 on each row, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There's at least 60 coins. Swiss coins from France. From Italy, lira. They don't use them anymore because it's the euro. They don't use them anymore because now it's the euro has superseded, the euro has superseded the lira and the francs. And Magyar forints from Hungary. Magyar forints from Hungary when it was communist. 1985, so still has the communist socialist emblem. This might be interesting for collectors, of course. Secret forint with the star, the socialist red star. And of course, Magyar Republic was a socialist republic. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, of course, 1989. This was before. 1990, Deutschmark, which is 5 Deutschmarks, non-existent now. Republik Deutschland. Deutschmark is it's using the euro, so. Hong Kong $1 from 1978, before the reunification of 1998. So during the Hong Kong, when it was still part of the British, still a British colony, although it wasn't exactly colony, but still part of Britain. Hong Kong, $1 for Hong Kong from 1970. This could be interesting. 78. One Deutsche Mark. Interesting. One Deutsche Mark doesn't exist anymore, but now it's the euro. This is older. So this might be worth something, not that much, but for collectors, I mean. Deutsche Mark from 1950. Deutsche Mark from 1950. New pence, 10 new pence from 1975. Nice lion on it. Nice lion on it. Nice lion on it. No idea what this is. Oh, it's a new pence, a new pence, a new pence. Not gonna show it all, not gonna show it all, not gonna show it all, but nonetheless, get the idea. Throwing in a little bit of extra, throwing this picture. Sign it and kiss it. Sign it and kiss it. Sign it and kiss it. A coin collection. have it. So now we're gonna do the education. Well, what we're gonna get from this. Thank you again, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers from Thailand and Ukraine who made this honey possum and the tea from Sri Lanka. Thank you, farmers, love you, kiss you, hug you. Farmers produce the tea, Sri Lanka, and all involved in the transportation. Love you, kiss you, hug you. Those who took the wheat, put the sugar and the flavors to make this biscuit in Israel. Transported it. Foreign exchange market. I have to do a little bit of change here. I'm gonna go below. Ready, set, hut, hut, hut. Foreign exchange market, Forex, FX, or currency market. As I just showed the coin collection, from coins from Germany, from Hungary, from Italy, France, and other parts of the world. Hong Kong when it was still part of Britain, and other countries. More than 60 coins, that is for sure. And in some pouches there's 3, so more than 66 coins. More than 66 coins for sure. More than 66 coins for sure. But auctioning price starts at 7,777,777. PayPal North America shipping only. PayPal North America shipping only. PayPal North America shipping only. Make an offer. Foreign exchange market. The foreign exchange market, Forex, FX, or currency market, is a global, decentralized, or over-the-counter market for the trading of currency. Maybe somewhere in the world now, somebody's trading currencies with the banks, and maybe Japan, but somewhere is morning now, right? Where is the morning now? Let's see what time is in Japan. Japan local time. It is Tuesday in Japan. Japan local time. In Japan it is 10:14 a.m. 13 hours different. Let's see Beijing. Beijing. In Beijing, interestingly enough, is 9:15, so it's 12-hour difference. 9:15 a.m. in the morning, so in Beijing, my brothers and sisters in Beijing, Peking, Hua Home Joe, Hua Home Joe, Hua Home Joe is my message to my brothers and sisters of China. And if you know a little bit of Chinese, maybe you know what I've said in Chinese. If not, well, As my pronunciation messed it up, but nonetheless, it's the message. How about in Sri Lanka, local time? Let's see. It's 6:46 a.m. So the sun just dawned, breaking sun is Australia local time. So Sri Lanka is still early. Interesting that Sri Lanka is 3 hours different than China. In Australia, interestingly enough, it's 11 a.m. 14 hours difference with Australia. Let's see, South Korea. It's 10:17 a.m. in South Korea. And in China, it's 9:17 a.m. So there we go. There we have it. So somebody's making trades maybe in the yuan. In the yen is Japan, yuan is China or Australian dollar. Foreign exchange, forex, FX, or currency market is a globalized, decentralized, or over-the-counter market for the trading of currencies. So coins that I had are different currencies. Basically, they're coin, they're small, but some 5 Deutsche Mark back then was worth something. You can get a meal because it was a 5 Deutsche Mark from 1990. So in 1990, with 5 Deutsche Mark, you can probably get a 2-liter bottle of soft drink. You can get a hamburger. You can get a meal maybe. You can get a piece of bread, maybe some eggs, and a drink. You can eat $5 for a day, maybe even two. Back in 1990, Germany, the Deutsche Mark for 5 Deutsche Marks of 1990's value. Traded that with the lira and the magyar. So this is what it is. Trading of currencies. This market determines foreign exchange rates for every currency. It includes all aspects of buying, selling, and exchanging currencies at current or determined prices. The foreign exchange market, forex, FX, or currency market is a global, decentralized, or over-the-counter market for the trading of currency. This market determines foreign exchange rates for every currency. It includes all aspects of buying, selling, and exchanging currencies at current or determined prices. In terms of trading volume, it is by far the largest market in the world, followed by the credit market. The foreign exchange market, forex, FX, or currency market is a global, decentralized, or over-the-counter market for the trading of currencies. This market determines foreign exchange rates for every currency. It includes all ALL aspects of buying, selling, and exchanging currencies at current or determined prices. In terms of trading volume, it is by far the largest market in the world, followed by the credit market. The main participants in this market are the larger international banks. Financial centers around the world function as anchors of trading between a wide range of multiple types of buyers and sellers around the clock. So as I'm speaking, somebody's trading forex, maybe on an app. You got an app, you know an app about it, you know an app, what you know, which app. I'm broke, $10,000 owed to the credit line of RBC, that bank with a line with it, holding RBC Bank of Canada, and the government of Quebec is asking me for $2,200 back, so I'm broke, but my work is going on. I'm gonna start rapping better than Kanye West. Followed by the credit market. This is by far the largest market in the world. The main participants in this market are the larger international banks. Financial centers around the world function as anchors of trading between a wide range of multiple types of buyers and sellers around the clock, with the exception of weekends, since currencies are always traded in pairs. The foreign exchange market does not set the currency's absolute value, but rather determines its relative value by setting the market price of one currency if paid for with another. Example: USD, US dollar 1 is worth X Canadian dollars, or CHF, or JPY. JPY Japanese, I'm assuming. JPY Japanese yen. Yeah, yen of Japan, JPY. The foreign exchange market works through financial institutions and operates on several levels. Behind the scenes, banks turn to a smaller number of financial firms known as dealers. Where you at, dealers? What you dealing foreign yuan, with the dollar, with the Canadian, with some pesos, with some euros, with some shekels, with some euros, with some shekels, with some what you know. I know zero Dragan. Give me push-ups, yo, bro. Give me some push-ups, bro. Give me some hugs, give me some love. Otherwise, keep on marching. Pass by me, yo. Thanks. The foreign exchange market works through financial institutions and operates on several levels. Behind the scenes, banks turn to a smaller number of financial firms known as dealers, who are involved in large quantities of foreign exchange trading. Most foreign exchange dealers are banks. So this behind the scenes market is sometimes called the interbank market. Although a few insurance companies and other kinds of financial firms are involved, the trades between foreign exchange dealers can be very large, involving hundreds of millions of dollars. Trades between foreign exchange dealers can be very large, involving hundreds of millions of dollars. Trades between foreign exchange dealers can be very large, involving hundreds of millions of dollars. Trades between foreign exchange dealers can be very large, involving hundreds of millions of dollars. Because of the sovereignty issue when involving two currencies, Forex has little, if any, supervisory entity regulating its actions. Forex has little, if any, supervisory entity regulating its actions. Forex has little, if any, supervisory entity regulating its actions. The foreign exchange market. Forex, FX, currency market. Forex, colloquially known in finance jargon. The foreign exchange market works through financial institutions and operates on several levels. Forex has little, if any, supervisory entity regulating its actions. The foreign exchange market assists international trade and investments by enabling currency conversion. The foreign exchange market assists. Well, it's a necessity in international trade because the country have different currencies: the US dollar, Canadian dollar, euro, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, right? So many different currencies, more than 156. There's more than 156, more than 156 currencies worldwide. So international trade has to go from one currency to another. Makes me think of, we buy from OPEC petroleum, right? I believe Saudi Arabia, the currency is the rial, if I'm not mistaken. In Saudi Arabia, the currency is the rial, if I'm not mistaken. In Saudi Arabia, the currency is the rial, if I'm not mistaken. The foreign exchange market assists international trade and investments by enabling currency conversion. The foreign exchange market assists international trade and investments by enabling currency conversion. The currency conversion is part of the forex, of course. Trading of currencies. You can buy it low, sell it higher, or vice versa. You can lose money, make money, or lose depending on factors. For example, it permits a business in the United States to import goods from the European Union member states, especially Eurozone members, and pay euros, even though its income is in United States dollars. It also supports direct speculation. It also supports direct speculation. It also supports direct speculation on evaluation relative to the value of currencies and carry trade speculation based on the differential interest rate between two currencies. Based on the differential interest rate between two currencies. Based on the differential interest rate between two currencies. Based on the differential interest rate between two currencies. Term here, differential interest rate, differential exchange rate should it be. Interest rate is interest rate. Curious. Let's see. Note 2. What note is this? Global imbalances and destabilizing speculation. Trade and Development Report 2007 from the UN. The terms here, differential interest rate, differential exchange rate, he means, not interest, because there's no interest paid here. Interest is paid on debt. I have a little bit of issue with the term used here. The differential interest rate I would substitute for differential exchange rate. Differential between the exchange rates, because you don't pay interest in the foreign exchange market. Is not a debt. The foreign exchange market does not involve debt necessarily, or interest on debt, such as on a credit card or a bank loan or a mortgage. That's why interest rate I have a little bit of with the term there, but again 2007. It's an exchange rate. Continue reading. Differential interest rate between two currencies. In a typical foreign exchange transaction, a party purchases some quantity of one currency by paying with some quantity of another currency. Since I am in North America, of course, we pay Canadian dollars for US dollars. Speaking of, let's see, which was the most relevant for me as a Canadian who was born twice in past lives post 1776 in the USA, served in the US Army 156 years ago, 718 miles south of Hawk Island, Montreal. Yes sir, Marines, let's do some push-ups for world peace. Canadian dollar for the US dollar. 77. One Canadian dollar today, July 11. Well, this is already updated at UTC time, Universal time. It's already in UTC time in the morning, so it's July 12th, because it says 1 a.m. UTC time. So it's the time zone of the Atlantic, that way, east, towards Britain, probably British time. It's to London. So one Canadian dollar today is 77 cents US. So you can appreciate or depreciate, but didn't get that into. It's more in the international trade against the currency, appreciation, depreciation, trade balance, trade surplus, trade deficit, trade surplus, trade surplus, trade deficit, trade deficit, trade surplus. Interesting. 77. And the US dollar. So 1 Canadian dollar buys me 77 cents. But 1 US dollar is $1.30 Canadian. It's 30% compared, because $1 is 100 cents, and $1 Canadian is still 100 cents. So can taken as a unit, the one whole 100%, and if $1, that's 30% compared to the 77. That would be 23% different. Like, I'm calculating some differentials there, but anyways. So in a typical foreign exchange transaction, a party purchases some quantity of one currency by paying with some quantity of another currency, which would be that for a US dollar here in Canada, they will get $1.30 Canadian. Maybe some places would give $1.28 or $1.31, or vice versa. For one Canadian would get you 77 cents US. The modern foreign exchange market, and of course for 100 Canadian dollars, you get $77 US, or vice versa. For 100 US dollars, you get 130 Canadian dollars. The modern, M-O-D-E-R-E-R-N, the modern foreign exchange market began forming during the 1970s. The modern foreign exchange market began forming during the 1970s. Modern, it dates back to antiquity, I guess. Ancient Egypt, Babylon, Rome, even ancient China, of course, ancient India. Even here in Inca civilization, Maya civilization, Aztec civilization. So from what we know, so much we don't know. Modern foreign exchange, however, market began forming during the 1970s. This followed 3 decades of government restrictions. So 3 decades, that's a lot. That's 30 years. This followed 3 decades. 3 decades. It's a lot. This followed 3 decades of government restrictions on foreign exchange transactions under the Bretton Woods system of monetary management, which set out the rules for commercial and financial relations among the world's major industrial states. After World War II, countries gradually switched to floating exchange rates from the previous exchange rate regime, which remained fixed per the Bretton Woods system. The foreign exchange market is unique because of the following characteristics: its huge trading volume, representing the largest asset class in the world, leading to high liquidity; its geographical dispersion; its continuous operation 24 hours a day except for weekends. But it's 24 hours a day. Since the foreign exchange market is not a localized market, it's a global market, right? Because it's countries on all continents, on all the continents, or countries of different worlds, around the world, around the globe, worldwide. Different countries have different currencies, except some countries have common currencies such as the euro, which many countries have adopted in the European Union. But nonetheless, it's continuous operation 24 hours a day except for weekends. Trading from 10 p.m. UTC on Sunday, Sydney, until 10 UTC Friday in New York. The variety of factors that affect exchange rates, the low margins of relative profit compared with other markets, or fixed income, the use of leverage to enhance profit and loss margins, and with respect to account size. As such, it has been referred to as the market closest to the ideal of perfect competition. As such, it has been referred to as the market closest to the ideal of perfect competition. As such, it has been referred was the market closest to the ideal of perfect competition. Interesting. I had no idea about this. See, I'm learning every day. By who? By who? Who? By who? By who? As such, it has been referred to as the market closest to the ideal of perfect competition, notwithstanding currency intervention by central banks. According to the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, BIS is an international financial institution owned by central banks that fosters international monetary and financial cooperation. It serves as a bank for central bankers. Interesting. So we continue educating. Third day of COVID. That's the positive. According to the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, the preliminary global results from the 2019 triennial central bank survey of foreign exchange and OTC derivatives markets activity showed that trading in foreign exchange markets averaged 6.6 trillion per day in April 2019. Trillion is 1,000 billion, a billion is 1,000 million. This is up from 5.1 trillion in April 2016. Measured by value, foreign exchange swaps were traded more than any other instrument in April 2019, at 3.2 trillion per day, followed by spot trading at 2 trillion. 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 2 The 6.6 trillion breakdown is as follows: 2 trillion in spot transactions, 1 trillion in outright forwards, 3.2 trillion in foreign exchange spot transaction, also known as a FX spot, is an agreement between two parties to buy one currency against selling another currency at an agreed price for settlement on the spot date. The exchange rate at which the transaction is done is called spot exchange rate of 2010. Of 2010, the average daily turnover of global FX spot transactions reached nearly 1.5 trillion US, counting 37.4% of all foreign exchange transactions. Foreign exchange transactions. 1 trillion in outright forwards. Finance: a forward contract. Simply, a forward is a non-standardized contract between two parties to buy or sell an asset at a specified future time at a price agreed on at the time of conclusion of the contract, making it a type of derivative instrument. 3.5 trillion in foreign exchange swaps. $3.2 trillion in foreign exchange swaps. A trillion is 1,000 billion, a billion is 1,000 million. In finance, a foreign exchange swap, forex swap, or FX swap is a simultaneous purchase and sale of identical amounts of one currency for another, with two different value dates, and may use foreign exchange derivatives. An FX swap allows sums of a certain currency to be used to fund 108 billion currency swaps. In finance, a currency swap is an interest rate derivative. In particular, it is a linear IRD and one of the most liquid benchmark products spanning multiple currencies simultaneously. That's pricing association with interest rate swaps, foreign exchange rates. 294 billion in options and other products. Averages in trillions of dollars, US dollars per day. Probably reached close to 7 trillion daily. But this is, of course, the trading, and then it's broken down in what. But currency trading and exchange first occurred in ancient times. Money changers, people helping others to change money, and also taking a commission or charging a fee, were living in the Holy Land in the times. The times of Talmudic writings, in biblical times. These people are sometimes called Kolibishts, used city stalls, and at feast times the temple's court of the Gentiles instead. Feast times the temple's court of the Gentiles instead. Feast times the temple's court of the Gentiles instead. This is taken from International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. Money changers were also the silversmiths and or goldsmiths of more recent ancient times. Well written Wikipedia article. During the fourth, I'm not without fault. Right, bad, bitter, or oratory, poetry, philosophical, and stick at rapping. During the 4th century AD, the Byzantine government kept a monopoly on the exchange of currency. Papyrus shows the occurrences of exchange of coinage in ancient Egypt. Papyri, papyrus, classification of the papyri. shows the occurrences of exchange of coinage in ancient Egypt. Jacob, the marriage of Joseph with Asenat, and the marriage of Joseph with Asenat, maybe the marriage of Joseph with Asenat, they had to trade Canaanite currency for ancient Egyptian currency. Or what? It's a story on how come it's not written. Could be. Currency and exchange rates and exchange were important elements of trade in the ancient world, enabling people to buy and sell items like food, pottery, and raw materials. If a Greek coin held more gold than an Egyptian coin due to its size or content, then a merchant could barter fewer Greek gold coins for more Egyptian ones or for more material goods. This is why at some point in their history most world currencies in circulation today had a value fixed to a specific quantity of a recognized standard like silver and gold. True. Medieval and later, during the 15th century, the Medici family were required to open banks at foreign locations in order to exchange currencies, to act on behalf of textile merchants. To facilitate trade, the bank created the nostro, from Italian this translates to ours, account book which contained two-column entries showing amounts of foreign and local currencies, information pertaining to the keeping of an account with a foreign bank. During the 17th or 18th century, Amsterdam maintained an active foreign exchange market. Forex, Forex. Amsterdam maintained an active foreign market. In 1704, foreign exchange took place between agents acting in the interest of the King of England and the County of Holland. Early modern, early modern, early modern. Alex Brown and Sons traded foreign currencies around 1850 and was a leading currency trader in the USA. In 1880, Gemo do Espírito Santo da Silva, Banco Espírito Santo, applied for and was given permission to engage in a foreign exchange trading business. The foreign exchange trading business. The year 1880 is considered by at least one source to be the beginning of the modern foreign exchange. The gold standard began in that year of 1880, that is. Prior to the First World War, there was a much more limited control of international trade. Motivated by the onset of war, countries abandoned the gold standard monetary system, modern to postmodern. From 1899 to 1913, holdings of countries' foreign exchange increased at an annual rate of 10.8, while holdings of gold increased at an annual rate of 6.3 between 1903 and 1913. At the end of 1913, nearly half of the world's foreign exchange was conducted using the pound sterling. The number of foreign banks operating within the boundaries of London increased from 3 in 1860 to 71 in 1913. In 1902, there were just 2 London foreign exchange brokers. At the start of the 20th century, trades in currencies were most active in Paris, New York, and Berlin. Britain remained largely uninvolved until 1914. In 1922, the number of foreign exchange brokers in London increased to 17. In 1924, there were 40 firms. Operating for the purposes of exchange. In the 1920s, the Claymore family were known as the leaders of the foreign exchange market, while Yaphet, Montague and Co. and Seligman still warrant recognition as significant foreign FX traders. The trade in London began to resemble its modern manifestation. By 1928, forex trade was integral to the financial functioning of the city. Continental exchange controls plus other factors in Europe and Latin America hampered by any attempt at wholesale prosperity from trade. When I was in 1930s London, interesting, pardon, after the Second World War, in 1944 the Bretton Woods Accord was signed, allowing currencies to fluctuate within a range of 1%. 1%. The currency's par exchange rate. In Japan, the foreign exchange bank law was introduced in 1954. As a result, the Bank of Tokyo became a center of foreign exchange by September 1954. Between 1954 and 1959, Japanese law was changed to allow foreign exchange dealings in many in many more Western countries. U.S. President Richard Nixon is credited with ending the Bretton Woods Accord and fixed rates of exchange, eventually resulting in a free-floating currency system. After the accord ended in 1971, the Smithsonian Agreement allowed rates to fluctuate by up to 2%. In 1961-1962, the volume of foreign operations by the U.S. Federal Reserve was relatively low. Those involved in controlling exchange rates found the boundaries of the agreement were not realistic and so seized this. In March 1973, and sometime afterward, none of the major currencies were maintained with a capacity for conversion to gold. There's a clarification needed there. Organizations relied instead on reserves of currency. From 1970 to 1973, the volume of trading on the market increased threefold. At some time, according to Gandolfo, during February-March 1973, some of the markets were split, and a two-tier currency market subsequently introduced with dual currency rate. This was abolished in March 1974. Interesting. Reuters. Reuters. Reuters introduced computer monitors during June 1973. Interesting. Reuters introduced computer monitors during June 1973. Reuters introduced computer monitors June 1973, replacing the telephones and telex used previously for trading quotes. Wow. Interesting. Forex timeline of events. Hopefully, ASAP July. ASAP the UE will be included in there. The creation of the UE via Detroit fusion theory. Hana Dragan, the creation of the UE. Hana Dragon's Detroit fusion theory and the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, further by biometrics, the voice and the eye and the fingerprints being unique biometric markers for each individual human being. The UE, the public-private partnership. Replacing the telephones and telex used previously for trading quotes. Markets closed due to the ultimate ineffectiveness of the Bretton Woods Accord and the European joint float. The forex markets were forced to close. Sometime during 1972 and March 1973, the largest purchase of US dollar in the history of 1976, clarification needed, was when the West German government achieved an almost $3 billion acquisition. A figure is given as $2.75 billion in total by the statesman. Volume 18, 1974. This event indicated the impossibility of balancing of exchange rates by the measures of control used at the time. Wow. And the monetary system and the foreign exchange markets in West Germany and other countries within Europe closed for 2 weeks during February or March 1973. Huh. Interesting. Exchange markets had to be closed when they reopened March 1st, as a large purchase occurred after the close. After 1973, in developed nations, state control of foreign exchange trading ended in 1973, when complete floating and relatively free market conditions of modern times began. Other sources claim that the first time a currency pair was traded by U.S. retail customers was during in 1982, with additional currency pairs becoming available by the next year. 1st January 1981, as part of changes beginning during 1978, the People's Bank of China allowed certain domestic, this is a major part, a major importance, China, of course, major trade now, biggest exporter since has overtaken many exporters to become the world's greatest exporter of goods and producer de facto, but exporter, world's factory, right? For the 90s and early 2000s and for many decades now. Part of the change beginning in 1978, the People's Bank of China allowed certain domestic enterprises to participate in the foreign exchange trading. Sometime during 1981, the South Korean government ended forex controls and allowed free trade to occur for the first time. During 1988, the country's government accepted the IMF quota for international trade. Wow. Intervention by European banks, especially the Bundesbank, influenced the forex market on the 27th of February 1985. The greatest proportion of all trades worldwide during 1987 were within the United Kingdom, slightly over one quarter. Wow, it's interesting. The United States had the second highest involvement in trading. In 1991, Iran changed international agreements with some countries from oil barter to foreign exchange. Interesting. Now we're just going to go with the top 10 currency traders overall percentage volume in June 2020, and we'll end it with that. So top 10 currency traders overall of percentage in June 2020. Top 10 currency traders of overall percentage June 2020. Number 1, JP Morgan, market share 10.78% of the United States. UBS of Switzerland at second place, 8. UBS of Switzerland, 8.13% of market share, second place. Third place, XTX Markets of Britain, England, 7.58% of market share. Fourth place, Deutsche Bank, 7%, 7.38%, very close. The Deutsche and the England, Britain and England, very close. 7.38%. City of United States, 5.50%. HSBC, number 6 from Britain, England, 5.33%. Jump Trading, number 7 from the US, 5.53%. 8th place, Goldman Sachs, 4.62%. 9th place, State Street Corporation, 4.61%. 10th place, Bank of America Merrill Lynch at 4.50%. So, out of the top 10 currency traders, in the first place is US, second place is UBS of Switzerland, third place is Switzerland is second place, UBS, third place is XTS Markets of England, Britain, fourth place Deutsche Bank. Out of the 10 top, there are 6 from the United States. 6 from the United States, 6 from the United States. Well, that will end this rock and roll learning.